All right, shalom, shalom. Start off by giving all praises and all glory and all honor to our Lord and our Savior Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Makakodash, and double honors to the Apostles of GMS, those who rule well. All right, on the screen you see the Apostles, all right, of GMS, and salutations to those out there who are laboring in truth and sincerity. I'm your Lakmura R from the Shepherd of Berea camp, and pretty much entitled in this video, why we give double honors. And it's something that, every brother does in a video. And just going into the reason why, and the first precept will be 1 Timothy 5:17. And it says, let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. And these great men have been laboring in this word and doctrine for over 30 years. For over 30 years. And not only just the laboring part, because people could say, well, I've been a pastor for 30 years or whatever the case may be. Let's actually go into the things that they did. And I'm going to hop into the scriptures, and, listen along. The first precept I'm going to get is going to be Zephaniah. I'm going to go to the book of Zephaniah. Let me get it real quick. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 12. And this reads, I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of the Lord. Right. And one of the key things that the apostles did was what? They were the first pioneers, or the first ones to actually reveal the right name of the Most High, not Yahweh, not the YHWH or the tetragrammaton name. They gave the actual Paleo-Hebrew name and a breakdown for it through the usage of the Blue Letter Bible. A lot of brothers and a lot of people go into the Blue Letter Bible. And now outside of the tree, you'll have Sinetta, you'll have, I even seen Polite one time going to the word, this was years ago, sorcerer, going back to pharmakeia. And he said it in the video, right? And where do you think the origin of that came from? See, a lot of those styles of looking up words in the etymology and the Blue Letter Bible, okay, going to the root word, came from the apostles, going into the Greek and going into the Hebrew. And they were going to also the Assyrian, and they revealed the original Paleo-Hebrew, the Lashawan Kadash language. So as it reads that they shall trust in the name of the Lord, Salakia, Zephaniah 3:9, for them will I turn to the people of pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. All right. The Lord did that through using these great men. All right. Through using these great men. All right. They have turned the people back to their fathers, as it, it says prophetically for Elijah, and it started with Abba Bibbins. OK, who through the apostles understanding and learning, and it makes sense, who would be Elijah, who is John the Baptist, and the reincarnation as, came back as Abba Bibbins. But these great men right here, all right, are to be counted double, to be given double honors for these things alone, all right. Now, it says in Sirach, I'm going to get this real quick, Sirach chapter 44, verse 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. Right. See, these are going to be famous men in the kingdom. All right. Because you have to understand that the laboring that's going on, there's men that's going to be written and be part of the elect, the 144,000 right now. I mean, you have men that are in the spirit realm that, may have, of course, like I mentioned, Abba Bibbins and other, teachers out there that I may have not mentioned, way young in this truth. So I don't really know a lot, a lot of great men, that labored during those times that may have went into the spirit realm. But, that's part of the elect. But these are men that are written in the book of life. So they're going to be famous men. A lot of times we're not even really paying attention to that these are the trend who going to be ruling in the kingdom of heaven underneath Yahweh Shai. And I mean, this is a major thing. We don't know who's who, so to speak, because there's reincarnation. All right. Like the great men from back then, the Abraham, the Isaac, Jacob, they're here now, So we may have known them for their acts then, but they're doing acts right now to this day. You see? So, not to get too much into the reincarnation, but the labor of their works they're doing right now, it says, let us now praise famous men. The reason why reason why I ain't taking a jab, and this is due to my camp head, all right, and elders in the camp, which we priest Awan Mayim, the priest Karak Al-Kahan, they followed the apostles, and they showed me the videos from the Genesis breakdown, the Revelations breakdown. That's how I was able to understand the serpent wasn't a snake. The apple wasn't a fruit. You know what I mean? These are deep topics that, people choke on and never get understanding on. All right. Adam and Eve wasn't the first. All right. There was men and women around during the time of when it says, the creatures were made. All right. So there's a lot of things, a lot of understanding that was brought to light. The Revelation breakdown, the mark of the beast, being the RFID microchip. The apostles been saying that for years. And now here we in these last days, and they, through this whole metaverse and the actual money system, all right, being the play, all right, because this big pandemic, all right, is going to play into the money system, of course. So everything could go digital. So, and people are already taking this chip to buy or sell, exactly how the scriptures say. They're using the pandemic also to, say, hey, this is a way we could track and trace your digital stamp, digital passport. So it's all there. But who was the pioneers to really go into that? And they were the first ones. Because although they had teachers, they were the first ones really to dig deep in that, were understanding with these breakdowns. And I'm going to go into it. Sirach 44:2, the Lord have wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. I mean, the apostles even set the year off, the year. I remember when it was the year that was the year of the year to Mark, I believe. Man, and that's when it started off. And I mean, me and the brothers, we went into the the whole thing with Amazon when they just, as soon as that they declared that, Amazon went right away and had a patent right out for basically that whole Amazon Go thing where you swipe and go. They had the patent for that. And now you see supermarkets following suit for where it's basically a biometric system where you swipe your hand and go. And to do what? To buy or sell. No cashiers. All right? Your ID is on it. They know who you are as soon as you step inside those restaurants. I mean, those are like the Amazon Go, all right? Because it's an ID status. They don't have to have a checkout. They don't have to have a security. They don't have to have anybody there, all right? See? And if you take, they bill you. So these are the things that they were shedding light on, all right? The image of the Lord. Hey. I would have never known the Lord was a dark skinned man. It just never. That the day the Lord was born, it was in the springtime. It wasn't this whole Christmas. So it was a lot, man. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of information. So let me finish reading this right here. Sirach 44. It says, verse 4: leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people, wise and eloquent in their instructions. Right. So, the apostles even putting out decrees not to take this jab and, to put the videos of hit the YouTube. That's how a lot of brothers even got this knowledge. That was wisdom telling them to hop on the YouTube because they transcended that. All right. It was from the apostles, and, they were always, and other brothers always mentioned during that 2008 period. All right. Hitting on that YouTube, they was, they changed the whole dynamics of YouTube in general. And when I say in general, I mean that other people started to do conscious videos, not even having, what I'm saying is this complete doctrine. Just they're going to expose, and they gave the whole battery of whistleblowers and other people to go on and Abu 77s and other people out there to just speak on that platform to bring a level of consciousness. That started with the apostles. And out of all of the stuff, that whole black conscious community and all of that, who's remained standing? Who does Sarnetta even give credit to having the truth to? All right, the 100% truth to is the Apostles of GMS. Because at the end of the day, man, the real is going to stand. They've been put through a test. And everybody's been found out liars and charlatans and this and that. And here it is. They were, even though the truth was so raw, and people couldn't, it shook things up. But, it remained. And now many people, even many sisters, are listening, listening and dialing on into them. Verse 5, such as found out musical tunes and recited verses and writings. Right. They actually found out musical tunes. They went through the scriptures, all right, and found out, and recited verses and writing, they understood the new song it speaks of in Revelations. All right. And they sung the new song. All right. They understood that song. All right. They recited musical tunes. Rich men furnished with the ability, living peaceably. Rich with what? Rich was the wisdom. Because although they're not rich in the world, but it says that in Revelations, thou art poor, but thou art rich. All right. Are furnished with ability, right? Living peaceably in their habitations, and whom the apostles was very peaceable. I've never seen, in as much knowledge and everything that they know, I've always seen the apostles very humble state. They'll greet you. They give. They never charge anybody for their knowledge. They don't come down as no brutish men or full of pride and things of that nature. I've seen them dealt with the wicked in the most, I'm talking about people who are wicked in the most peaceable way, uplift spirits, these are great men, man. All right. In verse 7, all these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their times. See? So, just going into why. All right. They're going to be there. It says, give credit to the famous men. These will be the famous men, and are the famous men. But, just speaking on what's to come. All right. But what else is what did they do? All right. Let's go to Isaiah 3:10. It's one of the main key things, as well as us going on the highways and byways. All right. It's due to what? That spirit being on them to give men courage. All right. This is Isaiah 30:10. No, not 30:10. It says, thy eyes shall see thy teacher. 30:20. Salakia. Isaiah 30:20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into the corners anymore, but thy eyes shall see thy teachers. So they were the teachers that we seen, and they gave us, the courage, for other men to go out there and do the same. All right. You know how much it takes to go stand out there in them corners and preach the word. All right. And wearing ancient garments and, bringing out signs and saying, bringing out going into the words of the prophecy that some will not even like. They'll disdain. They'll hate to hear, and doing this constantly, week in and week out for years. So, that's courageous. To even speak out against Eve, how much, situations, Esau, his system. I mean, that gave great courage, man. Great courage to do those things. All right. Because before this, they gave you courage to be a man. And before this, you'd be soft spoken. You don't want to really have an opinion on things. You want to keep the, play it safe or what's this, what they use? Be politically correct, speak politically correct. No, they actually were the first ones to push that spirit of just being all out raw. And now you got dudes who would and I'm not going to say we don't sit down and focus on a woman. All right. But I'm going to say this now, because now you'll have dudes like Kevin Samuels who bring out stuff raw. What's that? Those guys called Fresh Fit. You had Tommy Sotomayor. You know, they're raised up a spirit now. I'm just using them for example because they're like well known. All right. In the so-called black community. And they, you know, they speak raw. OK. According to a sensitive topic where most people will be like, oh, nah, don't speak like that to the woman. Now they come out raw. But again, that's because the Holy Spirit upon these great men gave others courage to even speak like that. You know, I'm not backing them up or, you know, going into their stuff. I'm just saying, just in general, to be able to speak, you know, and lay out raw information came down from them. All right. Even to the point of where Jake now will, you know, speak out against, you know, the system in general and say this or say that. Hey, that started with this Holy Spirit being upon these men. All right. So, y'all finish that? Yeah, Isaiah 30 and 20. Last one I want to get is Proverbs 28 and 28. Not to make it too long, but, you know, just a quick video. You know, always start the videos off saying that. Just, hey, well, these are just a small portion of why, you know. And I'm sure, you know, this could be hours in on done. But Proverbs 28 and 28, it says, when the wicked rise, men hide themselves. But when they perish, the righteous increase. Right. So during the time of the wicked being in rulership and rising, you know, it says men hide themselves. But through the Holy Spirit being upon these men, they actually, what? It said in Psalms 23. Let me get that real quick. All right. Because Esau evil has been rising like crazy. You know, legalizing homosexuality, legalizing smoking weed, legalizing prostitution, you know, a lot of things have been legalized. A lot of poisons have been legalized. So, you know, a lot of spirits have been rising. Psalms 23 and 5. I'll jump to the point. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. So even while they broke that paradigm of when men will hide themselves when the wicked rise, you know, now while they were rising and pushing their stuff, you know, the apostles was out there preparing the table. All right. The Lord was preparing the table, of course, you know, but they were helping, you know, as it's saying that, you know, they were furnishing that table, you know, with wisdom. All right. And had men to come out to, you know, to eat from that table. OK, as I say, I believe in Proverbs 9, you know, because even Yahweh Shah said, go on the highways and byways. So this is done during the rising of wickedness, man. All right. But it says, but when they perish, the righteous shall increase. And the righteous are increasing. And that is because the wicked is about to fall. That great exceeding army, as it speaks in Ezekiel, is being risen up. And it all started from what? You know, when you read Ezekiel, it started from prophesying to the wind. And who were the men doing that, prophesying to the wind on the YouTubes and setting it up? You know, like you had, you know, men of course, like they're teachers, but the whole trend started with the apostles to be hitting the YouTube and to be, you know, to go into the proper breakdowns and to push that spirit, you know, upon others to now go out and prophesy and, you know, and to spread like wildfire. So, you know, this is you know, just a quick video pretty much expressing why we give double honors to the apostles of GMS and, you know, in a short notation. You know, Allah's will, you know, was edifying. You know, these are just a few precepts that I had just went through the Holy Spirit. You know, so to the next time I'll say Shalom. And once again, yeah, double honors to the apostles of GMS. All right. You know, call Allah, y'all, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Kodesh.